the world, Invercargill in New Zealand, but tonight Paddy is on top of the world. The biggest match of his career. Has the players eyeball now. Looking at their opposite number, Joe Roth, who performed so splendidly. And little Tom Thumb. Torai Kefu had a big game with Owen Finnegan. So Andrew Walker to get proceedings underway. It's the championship decider. Australia and the Lions in 2001. Very high ball from Walker. Grucock is there. And the crumbs picked up by Keith Wood. Just out from the 22. Johnny Wilkinson goes wide early. Surprise tactics, but a loose pass. Robinson cleans up. The Lions have put themselves under pressure early on. Matt Dawson. Did the Wallabies come through prematurely? It looked like it. And there's the penalty first up.
The Lions showing their hand. Jason Robinson, their star player, got no ball last week. They're going to use him tonight. This is fantastic. Sets a huge stage for the Wallabies to defend.
Good, and like a false start at the Olympics, that one. This stadium out of the blocks too quickly, the Wallabies.
But great to see that intention of adventure. And there, George Smith, Nathan Gray, number 1 also, Nick Stiles, all coming through before the ball was cleared from the scrum, all offside.
This phase is a weapon for the Lions. The line out, they've been able to take it cleanly, bring it down and move it forward off the mark. And see if they try it right from the outset.
Pinched there by Justin Harrison, his first touch in a test match. That's a big strike for the Australians. Now Finnegan makes it to the advantage line.
10 metres.
Now, they've been ruled offside, coming up inside the 10 metres from the line of touch because the line-out had not finished, says referee Paddy O'Brien. Early penalty, Australia.
And good tactic too, taking the pressure off Flatley, basically getting to Finnegan. Finnegan takes the first ball up, gets smashed, but they're offside.
What about the wonderful win by Justin Harrison at the middle? They've called him an ape, and I'll have one of these with arms that long in my team anytime.
Yes, well, against the run of play, Justin Harrison inspired pilfer. And suddenly the Wallabies poised to post first points in this enormous occasion for both sides. Matthew Burke, before this series, had had his last start at fullback in the Rugby World Cup final, 1999. 6 penalty goals, a record last week in Melbourne. Crowd likes it. So inside the 3rd minutes, and it's the Wallabies leading by 3-0.
Well, Justin Harrison may be young and inexperienced, but that first line out, and what's this kick from Matthew Burke? Super cool.
Knocked ahead by Danny Grucock. Here's Flatley now. Oh, hit hard there by Wilkinson. Referee playing advantage.
Cross forward by Reid. No, but get out of it.
So no advantage there for the Australians.
Elton Flatley down injured and back play.
Gentlemen.
Well, as Paul McLean said during the week, if you put 10 on your back, you're open game for most. Flatley took it forward hard. Be interesting to see what the injury is.
Okay, it's 3-0 Australia with Flatley in trouble.
Okay, mate, away you go.
Oh, thanks, mate.
And sadly for Elton Flatley, he has been quite injury prone in recent seasons. He suffered a broken jaw on the Wallaby Tour last year when he was set to play against England.
Huge hit there from Johnny Wilkinson. This will be a game of massive defence. The kick-off, and there Grucock puts the ball forward.
Gentlemen, just wait, please. No.
Flatley took it up, met in a strong tackle from Johnny Wilkinson.
Hold it.
So he just looked to be receiving a knock on the head. Nothing in it.
Come on.
So,
Don't even think about it.
heaving masses, Chris Handy, in the first scrum.
Look, this is where it's decided. And they know. Everyone trying to take just the slightest millimetre of advantage. Wallaby scrum holds strong.
Yeah, but sloppy ball at the back. Nathan Gray. So that was a huge scrum from the Lions. Australia forced to scurry. And now a line out on the 22 with the Lions throw.
It's the high-risk scoop here by Tote Kefu. Back to George Gregan. Didn't give Nathan Gray too much time. They'll take the stand and drive it.
That's Martin Corrie at the back. Now they go wide. Big tackle by Nathan Gray. Henderson bounced out of that tackle. Wallabies swarm in. So some nice, calm refereeing from Paddy O'Brien.
Sensational tackle, Owen Finnegan on Dawson. Enveloped him.
Well, that's what has to happen. He's a danger man, Dawson. They've got to mark him up close. Gray's got to make his first up tackles.
Very low Wallaby scrum. It's Quinnell into Gregan. He's made 7 metres. This is Robinson from the left wing. Flatley the tackler. Matt Dawson. Corrie is 10 metres out. Gregan doing plenty of talking here to marshal the defence. Henderson, clever kick. He was taken out, says the referee. And I tell you what, if he hadn't have been taken out, there was no one in front of him. The weight of that kick meant that he could have easily have fallen on it and scored the try.
Like Michael Foley, the man, Henderson charges through, and there it is, a little hip from Foley.
Clever work by Henderson at close quarters. He ran into some traffic there. He got the benefit of it from Paddy O'Brien, and now Wilkinson, a gift opportunity.
Well, you'd have to say the Wallabies struck the first psychological blow with the poaching in the line out. The Lions put Australia's scrum under pressure in the first scrum. And this should level up the scores for Johnny Wilkinson and the Lions. Listen to the roar. This army of Lions supporters, unofficially estimated at somewhere near 40,000 following their heroes here down under.
Certainly an army of occupation here in Sydney.
Splendid riposte from the Lions. 3-3. Andrew Walker goes the 10. Johnson. Aerial skills of an Aussie rules ruckman. And Australia pulled it to ground. Dawson plays on quickly. Darford James in behind the Aussies. Dawson wants the quick ball. Henderson back. Corrie went without it. Oh, missed opportunity there for the Lions.
Often we've seen those errors come when the Lions most need them to stick. Little lack of concentration. They'll either split you up the middle or spill the ball.
Yeah, Rodmore has to be careful. He pulled that Lions rumbling maul down.
Very low scrum again from the Aussies. It's solid. Nathan Gray stepping through the first tackle of Matt Dawson. Finnegan straight into Wilkinson. There's Kefu and Smith hit hard by Quinnell. Burke's come in. Kefu throws a dummy. Intercepted by Dawson. Clever kick. Well, Australia threatening to score a try there, but Dawson got in the way. There's a good reply from Burke. It's out on the full though, just. And the Lions with the momentum.
Matthew Burke caught that ball just a metre out from the 25, couldn't take it back. George Smith, watch him get hit here.
They're looking for Smith. They need to take him out of the game, and they'll have to try a bit harder than that. Great break down the short side by Tote Kefu.
Harrison got it again. His second steal in the lineouts. Brilliant timing there from the new boy Justin Harrison on the Lions throw. And now Joe Roth with a rifling torpedo. This is Matt Perry. Harrison in front. Flatley comes in. Elton Flatley getting very involved in defence. Wilkinson now. Hefty kick downfield. Nasty bounce. Matthew Burke. Henderson from Ireland. Here's Andrew Walker. Scored a brilliant try at the Gabba. A quiet game before being concussed last week. Or knocked in the head. Scott Quinnell now. Walker goes low. Grasped him. What a tackle there by Walker, who is half the size of Scott Quinnell at 120 kilos.
Well, they knew Robinson wasn't going to return the kick because it's a skill that he's been struggling with. And Scott Quinnell looked a little reluctant to cart it up. And a little bit of pressure put on by the following man.
This tackle's all about technique. 120 kilos rumbling up the field. It just comes in low.
So the scores are locked at 3-3 here at Stadium Australia.
Excuse me, Mr. Buddha.
What is it, son?
Could you please tell me what this is?
In 2003, and the capacity will be around 84,000, which are in tonight. Extra seats have been brought in. Matthew Burke's on target. Second success for the Aussie fullback. He continues on his point-scoring spree. 6-3.
The Australians ahead, but good attitude from the Lions. They want to spread this ball tonight.
Justin Harrison with a brilliant take overhead. The Lions wanting to play on quickly. Now George Gregan's gone in behind. Who wants it? Dawson didn't. Gregan's there.
Touch judge has got his flag out. Steve Walsh Jr. on this side of the field.
Maybe someone was taken out without the ball there. We'll wait and see. Wilkinson now, and Burke waiting for this kick near the 22. Just getting a better angle for the touchline. And then a drop punt. Not getting the touch. This is Perry. Burke in for the tackle. Halfway line. And there's a touch judge report from this side. Steve Walsh Jr., New Zealand.
It was on the kick-off, and the game is holded until this report is made. The touch judge has a microphone in the top of his flag.
After Gold had taken the ball down from the kick-off, the 5 red came in and the knee into the back of the white.
At the kick-off?
The number 1 yellow flag.
I'm going to penalise him if you go to the mark.
Yes, I will. Right. It just needs to be spoken to. No cars, but caution.
Knees back.
So the call was against number 5, Martin Johnson.
Knees in the back, number 5. Number 5, please.
Well, let's see.
I think it was
Danny Grucock.
It was Danny Grucock, and he led with the knee. That's a shocker. Have a look where he comes in here. Not attempting to go for the ball, and the knee straight into the back of number 1. It's a cheap one.
Well, the other thing which is concerning about that, he is a black belt in karate, and that had karate all about it.
Yes, well, he's the second Englishman to be sent off in a test match. And that was for stomping Anton Oliver, the All Black captain. So Danny Grucock, the karate black belt, striking out with his knee that time. There's the drop punt kit from Andrew Walker, gaining 35 metres. Australia ahead 6-3.
Well, the Australians tried that in a previous test, and this time goes forward. Finnegan on the march, but ball goes down.
Forgettable execution there from the Australians. Big wheel from the Aussie scrum. Now the Lions have to use it. That's Scott Quinnell. Now once you're on the ground and there are players on their feet from the opposition side, you must let it go. And there's Harrison and Johnson.
Go away. Go on.
Well, Justin Harrison keen to get into the action early in his Test debut.
Justin Harrison did well, then he restrained himself with
I don't want to see him again.
a real hold on his throat.
Heavy over your number 4.
Fantastic work, George Smith. Forced the turnover. Watch him. Ball comes forward. George Smith in over number 7 now. Quinnell doesn't release. That's where the penalty comes.
Yes, so I'm sure there'll be a word in Justin Harrison's ear to just cool it down as Matthew Burke lines up for another penalty attempt. A chance to put Australia ahead by 9-3.
I'll go and get the main course.
Here you go, mate. It's duck à l'orange.
Duck à l'orange, duck à l'orange, duck à l'orange.
Score is 6-3 to Australia. Burke has kicked 2 penalties, looking for his 3rd here. 25 points last week. Handy position. This to put Australia out by 6. Faultless. So Australia punishing indiscretions by the Lions. 9-3.
Well, Gordy, that ball's just flowing so beautifully off the boot tonight. Matthew Burke unerring. He wasn't striking it so sweetly last week.
Yes, well, he's really relishing this Summit ball, which wasn't used in the Super 12. There's a knock-on by Andrew Walker, just taking his eye off the ball, and that puts the pressure back on the Aussies.
The Australians having Andrew Walker back there. He's got a big boot. Just had a look that time. Ball goes down. Now the Lions. Fantastic attacking position.
Those 2 front rows really charging in. Dawson then for Wilkinson. Here's Perry out wide. Burke and Robinson. Well, they put him into space. It was 1-on-1, but Australia closed him down. Scott Quinnell, 7 metres out. Dawson through a dummy. Finnegan going in for it. They've slowed it down. It was a tackle.
Come on.
See Daniel Herbert there.
Australia pointing out the ball had come out on their side.
Lions,
the referee's decision had been made.
Lions falling into almost some obstruction off the edge of that. A couple of players getting in the way, but really testing the Wallaby defence. They came at it off the edges, firstly Quinnell, and then with some support, Owen Finnegan gets his measure.
No line breaks on either side so far. Australia has kicked 7 times in general play to the Lions 3. The Lions keen to run the ball tonight. They've had a little more possession and a lot more territory, but Australia is ahead on the scoreboard.
Tremendous defence there on Jason Robinson, and 2 goal jumpers to bring him down.
Nick Stiles on this side has been strong against Vickery. He's been able to take that scrum around. They won't want to kick this back row off too far, though.
Come up. No, unbind. Unbind. I'm going to start the game. Hold. Engage.
So the Lions again stand their ground and now move the Aussie scrum. They're going for the pushover. It's on here for the Lions.
It's fine to stay in.
Well, both front rows
Can stay down.
Well, the
just
referee
popped up then, so the referee brings it back and resets.
Referee a bit to blame for holding that initial contact up. Now we'll see the relative strengths of both scrums.
Australia goes down and is given the benefit of the doubt. But you could see the crunch coming on there, Chris.
Plenty of pressure. The Lions pack now should take it to the Wallabies and keep it at them. And this will be the test.
Well, for Paddy O'Brien, this is shades of Fiji and France in the World Cup back in 1999, a match he'd want to forget. He's going to make a decision here one way or the other, I feel, if it goes down again. Here's Wilkinson and Henderson. 5 metres out. Wallabies lying all over it, slowing it down. Here's Dawson and Wilkinson. There's 3 on 2 here. Overlap, it has to be a try. Robinson! They've got him into space a couple of times, and a telling strike back by the Lions.
It's a concentration of goal defence in close, which leaves Keith Wood out wide. And then a quick pass. Watch it go wide. Wilson, nice switch. Tom Smith, and then Jason Robinson, George Gregan, no chance.
As soon as Andrew Walker came in, it was all over. Rod Moore couldn't move across quickly enough to cover Wood. Great try to the Lions.
Well, it was classic vision by Johnny Wilkinson. He sent the ball initially to the right, and then there was a hooker and a prop out in the defensive line, and they knew the try was going to be theirs if it went through the hands. So Jason Robinson gets his 10th try on tour after scoring 5 against the Queensland Presidents 15.
Well, 10 metres out, the defence is obliged to take the ball carrier. You just can't hang off. So Walker had to go in. It's a shame that Moore didn't come wide and out.
It's hard to believe this player was stretched off last week down in Melbourne in huge agony. And here he is tonight setting up that try and attempting to convert the goal.
So the Lions scrum asserting an early dominance. And now Johnny Wilkinson with the chance to put his side in front for the first time. How good is that? It cleared the crossbar by 15 metres. Lions hit the lead here at Stadium Australia.
The classic counter. Beautiful try. End of conversion. The Lions are back.
Well, the Lions certainly had a scrum dominance in the first test. Australia made changes to the front row, but the Lions have found a few creaks in the early stages. This is Danny Grewcock. John Eales went high. And Wilkinson with Matthew Burke. And Kefu up towards halfway. Henderson the tackler. They'll try and hold him up here and make it a collapse more, but Australia have lost it. And there's another overlap that emerged and closed. Advantage over. That's Vickery. So the Australian defence regroups. Henderson.
Number 9.
And George Gregan. Moving forward
George
offside, and a penalty here for the Lions.
George Gregan was held down and basically got up in an offside position and naturally went in to try and defend, but referee nabbed him.
When you can apply that sort of pressure, you deserve to get the turnover.
So a chance now for Johnny Wilkinson to put the Lions even further in front. They lead 10-9.
It's tonight on 7.
The Lions have 66% of territory so far and 67% of the possession, and they're now ahead on the scoreboard by 10-9 with the prospect of more to come here. His leg was in plaster last Sunday. Again, no problem with the distance. It's pushing that one out. So breathing space for the Wallabies after they'd got away to a 9-3 lead.
Andrew Walker with the ball. Should be going long.
Here's Scott Quinnell, 12 from halfway, with a head of steam into Smith, who brought him to ground brilliantly. Now there, Scott Quinnell tried to get to his feet. He was held in the tackle.
If the tackle's completed, there was a player around his legs, he went to ground with the ball, he's got to release it immediately or get to his feet before he play. There, it's down, it's completed. Look, he gets back up and tries to play on again. You don't know the rules, son.
Unless he felt that he couldn't feel the hands of George Smith.
Well, he's made the mistake, Scott Quinnell, but his attitude is terrific. Just loves to punch that ball up.
Well, he's been brought down in 2 copybook tackles by Andrew Walker and George Smith so far. But he's been getting in behind the Australian defence when the opportunity is there. Harrison, that's sloppy work. Lions have pinched Australia's ball. Here's Dawson. Brought to ground by John Eales. Gregan through quickly on Dufford James. Matt Dawson, the former England captain, now at scrum half. Wilkinson goes wide to O'Driscoll, the stepper. Well, he beat 3. Gregan wrapped him up. That's the 22-metre line. And that was Tom Smith, the loose head prop, kicking downfield. Here's Joe Roff. He skewed it. Dawson. Smith, the tackler. The Lions just short of halfway here. Scott Quinnell edges ahead. Danny Grucock to halfway. Well, the intensity and desire certainly there from this Lions team this week after capitulating in the second half in Melbourne. Here's Burke. And that's a good clearing kick by Matthew Burke to within 7 of the halfway line in his 50th Test match.
Excellent variety coming from the Lions here tonight in Sydney. Using plenty of options out there, whether it be the little kick through, but invariably spreading it light as well.
They're also picking out the men that they want to take out. Smith aimed up on by Grucock, and then the kick to where Joe Roff wasn't. Good thoughtfulness by the Lions.
Well, the Lions have lost their line-out throw now. George Smith pouncing on the loose ball. And then a player leaving his feet.
Well, isn't there some feeling out in this game? No punches thrown. Let's hope that's not the case, but it's boiling.
So Andrew Walker coming up, and what about that stat of territory, Simon, with the possession?
Well, given the scoreline 10-9, the Australians have done well.
You've got to apply pressure on your opponents and use territory and possession against them to mount that pressure. The Wallabies can't seem to get out of their own half. It's because the defence of the Lions is great.
So there, Quinnell was penalised for leaving his feet as the ball came out. Throw over the back from Foley. And the Lions have pinched it, but initially they've lost forward.
Huge tackle there on Keith Wood. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Australians' line-out goes astray.
Nick Stiles sweeping around the back as the spare, and he's nailed Woods. Now back to the scrum. It continues, the battle.
Here's Gregan and Roff. Pass lost ahead there by Dan Herbert. It wasn't a sympathetic pass, though, and surprised Herbert. So just a little lack of cohesion there from the Australians.
Wallaby back stacked left. The attempted scissors doesn't work out.
Scott Quinnell again into George Gregan. Gregan quickly to his feet. Wilkinson on his right boot. He's equally adept, whether it be left or right, and he's taken play over halfway, Johnny Wilkinson, who passed Rob Andrews' test scoring point record. Andrew played 71 tests, Wilkinson only in his 30th test match.
It'd be a good idea for the Wallaby forwards to go to more simple lineouts. Being overly complicated, and they got into problems. 8 turnovers in the game for the Australians, 4 for the Lions.
Justin Harrison well. Flatley and Gray. Here's Herbert. Wilkinson underneath, Henderson over the top. Flatley again. Quick hands from Burke to Roth. Walker's coming through. Desperate Lions defence. Smith was there. Harrison just trying to settle things now. Lions have come in. Have they been able to steal the ball? I think they have. And George Smith, I think, has come through offside. So there was some great work there. I think it was Neil Back who pinched the ball at the breakdown when Australia had it.
And Neil Back came in about 6 inches off the ground and just drove forward and snapped. Got it.
Sorry,
There's a fantastic contest going on for the breakdown. Just zeroing in. Firstly Smith, then Back, and the big men either side smashing any beside him out of the way.
So it was still a collapsed maul at this stage. No one wanting to let go, and still wasn't fully out was the ruling by the ref, and George Smith penalised. Now Dawson setting up here for Back, who's gone into scrum half. Wilkinson takes them on. Good defence in close. That was Owen Finnegan, the tackler. One off the ruck. Here's O'Driscoll. Still haven't made it to the halfway line. Nearly 30 minutes gone. Here's Andrew Walker. Counter-attacks on for the Aussies. Matthew Burke. Well, he had Joe Roth outside. He's elected to kick. And another chance for Walker here. Put it back down is the call. Well read by Wilkinson. Aussies are there with Gray and Walker. They want to hold him up here and force a turnover. It's a collapsed maul. It is a turnover.
Well weighted kick there from Andrew Walker. Summed it up, put the ball through, got through on defence. Good work.
There's plenty going in at close quarters. Players looking to the touch judge to sort a few things out. There is no big pardons. Wilkinson tried to hold it up. He needs to wait for the support. Now he wants to get it down and back through his legs. There's plenty in there.
So the two teams in a huddle here, and Australia clinging to a 1-point lead, but it was always going to be an epic, and these two juggernauts are slugging it out here at Stadium Australia. Glenn Eller on the left, Rod McQueen and Ewan McKenzie, the Australian coaching staff that has performed such great deeds for the Wallabies. So there have been a lot of turnovers forced on both sides.
Don't even look at it.
Australia trying to edge back in the possession and territory stakes, but not too many missed tackles here tonight, certainly by the Australians.
Number 2 goals hit, and I didn't get a number from Red.
So we're looking at penalty with no number. Is that right?
Penalty with no number. So I had a number.
So you heard that, Chris Handy?
Michael Foley got flutured in the back of the head, I'm told, by a red player without a number. Hear the referee.
No, this chest's on a knife edge, as you well know. Okay, a boot went on a head there, no number identified. It can cost games. It's a penalty. Talk to the boys, no number. Go away, please. Go away, please.
So Paddy O'Brien, the referee, he's been seeing a sports psychologist since May to make sure he was on his game. He's also had a private fitness trainer, and he's doing a superb job here tonight. He's keeping the lid on proceedings. There hasn't been anything that's been malicious, but there was an illegality there, as pointed out by the touch judge, and now Australia can get back in the lead.
Matthew Burke. Pressure, but he loves it. Flatley's only had 3 possessions tonight against Wilkinson with 11.
Johnny Wilkinson's missed just the one shot. Burke has been on the money with every attempt so far. And Australia hits the posts. Keith Woods. Let off for the Lions. They retain their 1-point lead. Well, Keith Wood, there's nothing he can't do.
What a good clearance from Wood. You're right, Gordon. Cool.
What a great call, Gordy. It was just one of those moments. That ball looked like it was going through all money. And instead of hitting the front, it hit the post.
Finnegan at the back. Gregan spilled it. And a good option from Roff here, just to take the heat off. Australia not releasing the ball quickly enough. Joe Roff penalised.
Geez, I'd like to see this one again. He placed the ball back pretty well.
But he's still holding on to it. So he got isolated. There wasn't the support. But he was still holding on. He had to leave it on the ground.
Once you're tackled and there's a player on his feet, you have absolutely no rights. Roff is still holding on to the ball there. He held on for a second or two. He can't. He must release it straight away.
And Martin Johnson all over it. Big arms came through.
Now here's Keith Wood back in Munster. The locals like to touch his dome for good luck. Johnson at the front. Now they want to keep this on the ground. Collapsed by Australia. The Lions will take the advantage here. Wilkinson. Robinson's out wide. Here he comes, but Burke read it beautifully. It's still a penalty to the Lions, though, for the collapsed maul.
It's a winning tactic for the Lions. They've used it all tour.
Right here.
And it's a wonder the Wallabies aren't using it themselves, because the only way to defend against it. Now there, Johnson gives the ball to the back, and you can't pull down anyone in front. You can only tackle the man with the ball, as Rod Moore did there on Scott Quinnell. But everyone else playing a man in front of the ball is out of it.
So the Lions really looking to involve Jason Robinson, the turbocharged left wing, at every opportunity. Already they've gifted him a try out wide, but now Wilkinson looking to increase the margin to 4 points. "22 years of age, playing in just his 30th Test match. Normally so reliable. He missed with 3, as we mentioned, at Colonial last week in the first half. And Australia again off the hook.
The Wallabies definitely need good possession. Ruck and maul count running 30-9. Scrum under pressure. Line out not working too well.
Aussies go deep. Here's Quinnell again. Just mishandling. And Matt Perry now, who played a centre against Australia in '98 in that 76-0 loss at Suncorp. Kefu's taken it over the 10-metre line. Flatley. Oh, a terrible knock-on by Henderson. Well, he'll have recurring nightmares about that one.
It wasn't a particularly good kick from Elton Flatley either. There, Graham Henry. Donald Lanahan.
Chris, we saw Andrew Walker drop a ball. A try resulted a few phases later, and now Henderson was, I think, thinking about that 22 and the opponents rushing up.
Yeah, it's hyper-charged out here.
22-metre line. Gregan. Flatley. Here's Walker. Straightening. He's made 10. Gregan again. Hand on the ground there by the Lions. It's a penalty, and it's a deliberate penalty offence there by desperate Lions players.
Don't even think about it. Go away.
Good covering defence from Quinnell. It wasn't him who put the hand in, it was O'Driscoll.
Just amazing when ball comes back free and it's available to play. You'll just see it so clearly. There it is, about to be picked up by Gregan, and then the Lions hand pulls both his arms and the ball away.
So we have about 4.5 minutes remaining before the break. The Lions leading Australia by 10-9. Burke's last kick hit the left-hand upright. This is closer and easier, and it will put Australia back in the lead. But he's pushed it wide. So nerves from the two kickers. 3 out of 5 for Burke, 2 out of 4 for Wilkinson. Lions still in the lead by 1. Uncharacteristic miss there by Burke. Harrison went high. Gregan goes in for Flatley. He's Kefu. Gregan again. Flatley. Gray. Hasn't seen much of the ball, Nathan Gray. Takes it ahead for Gregan. Inside ball for Finnegan. Kefu with a big step off his left foot. O'Driscoll and Tom Smith. Australia surging now. Great work by Gregan. Here's Walker. Roth and Herbert. Splendid try by the Australians down the short side. They held the ball through the phases. And George Gregan's skills there, absolutely masterful.
Well, Buddha, how do you see it? It's going off down there.
Look, George Gregan has got all the vision tonight and just directing it so brilliantly. Smith it was that took it deep into the Lions, and that created the trouble. Herbert handled first time, and Walker a bit of magic. Wood loomed. Herbert was there in support at the quick look over the shoulder. Go you good thing, Danny Herbert.
Such smart play here from the Wallaby backs. They saw Keith Wood, Joe Roth, perfectly timed pass, 5 phases, and the key to the try was the George Gregan carry through from Owen Finnegan.
So now Matthew Burke, amidst the gold glitter, somehow finds a way through the confetti, and the Australians, from a 1-point deficit, are 6 clear.
What a remarkable turnaround. Wilkinson misses the penalty goal down here. Burke misses one, and then a converted try.
And Andrew Walker has redeemed himself, and it came from that missed kick by Rob Henderson.
Stay.
Knocking the ball on, and Australia pounced. Here's Burke.
Did a safety first there from the men in gold. Very close to half-time. They did have some room out there. Cornell was moving up quickly.
The Lions won't forget how important this is.
Let's go.
They want to get on with it. They need a score before half-time. They've got to hit back quickly.
So Keith Wood up the back. Taken by Corrie. That's Grewcock. George Smith underneath. Harrison over the top. Now Cornell. Caught by Moore in front. And those tacklers are held in there cleverly. Here's Henderson straight through. Robinson. Henderson held on. Robinson pulling his hair out. The defence was there though. Here's Johnson. Back, lovely hands for Woods. Back is there again. Dawson now, they can spread it. Here's O'Driscoll. Trying to straighten the attack. The Lions asking questions now of the Australian defence. Back to Martin Johnson. And back through his legs. Back at scrum half. Henderson getting that clean line break to get the momentum flowing. Penalty offence by the Australians. Here's Wilkinson. Back. Such a clever ball player. That's Scott Quinnell. Dawson clears it. The Lions looking for the try. O'Driscoll. 2-on-2. Duffer, James. And Herbert got in. There's Phil Vickery. What a tackle. Keith Woods. The Lions desperate for this 5-pointer. Elton Flatley, ball and all. Keith Wood again. What leg drive. The hoot has gone for half-time. Can Australia hold on? Wilkinson. Robinson. He had nowhere to go. They've kept it off the ground and driven ahead. Australia holding on desperately. Henderson. The Aussie backs are offside. Advantage being played. Foley and Styles came through. Here's Dawson again. There's the pass to Smith. He went without it.
Number 8.
Now Darford James is calling for the ball out wide here for a long kick to the touchline. And we saw 14 phases there from the Lions, and somehow Australia held them out.
Paddy O'Brien, great refereeing. Played 2 phases of advantage out there. Gave the Lions every opportunity to score. Finally, Totai Kefu gives a penalty away.
How come you know, with only a minute or so on the clock before half-time of the Lions' possession, that they're going to really have a crack?
OK, Chris and Simon, here's our AXA angle. And we lose probably about a metre and 0.3 of the real goal width. But it's a handy distance at 30 metres and just a breath of wind out there. So this is a badly needed 3 points for Johnny Wilkinson and the Lions. They've called the tune in possession and territory, but they're behind on the scoreboard. But this will ease some of the pain. They threw the kitchen sink at Australia there just before the hooter. Kick successful. And the Lions are trailing by just 3 here at Stadium Australia. Herbert a try for the Wallabies. Robinson for the Lions. 16 plays 13. An earlier ball, 16-13 half-time score. Simon Poitevin.
You'll see the pressure there in possession and territory. The men in gold under huge pressure the first half. Plenty of tackling been done by the Australians. They've done twice as many tackles as the Lions. And basically the Lions at the ruck and maul winning plenty. Both line-outs are pretty at ease.
So Chris Handy, as we see the Lions coming back out onto the field, it looks as though we might have a replacement.
It does. Colin Charvis is on in 18 jersey. Good, and that'll add a bit of spice to the side. I think he'll be on for Martin Corrie. Just trying to check the jersey numbers.
So number 18, Colin Charvis from Cardiff. So 2 Welshmen and Martin Johnson. You don't really have to be too much of a lip reader to work out what he's telling his Lions teammates. 40 minutes, death or glory.
In fact, Gordon, I think it's Scott Quinnell that's gone off and Charvis is on, because Corrie is still on the field, as is Neil Back.
Well, they would have been in a bit of trouble if they had Quinnell still out there and Corrie off. So as you say, Chris, Corrie's a real workhorse. Great work ethic.
One stat we didn't see in that table were turnovers, running 9 to the Australians, 6 to the Lions.
So 40 minutes remaining. Johnny Wilkinson gets proceedings underway in the second half. 1 try apiece. Burke's goal kicking the difference so far. And there's Joe Roth. Andrew Walker hasn't got the touch. Walker comes through belatedly and is palmed off by Darford James. 10-metre line Australian territory just ahead. Dawson then. Wilkinson. This is Perry. In behind the Aussie backs for Matthew Burke. And not happy with that kick. Going straight off the side of his boot. Big strike chance here for the Lions.
Excellent pressure there, Jason Robinson. Just hammered up the field. Burke looked up and there he was.
Well, what a great athlete he is, Chris Handy. Jason Robinson getting that first try, and he's a real eager beaver tonight.
He's got the acceleration of that Ford Cobra Mustang we both drove during the week, Gordy, and they are quick.
15 metres out. Referee playing advantage for a collapsed maul. The Lions want to keep the ball here. Wilkinson composed. O'Driscoll. There was more offside by Australia in midfield. So If they don't score a try, they'll get the penalty kick. But they want the try. Henderson. Now Grewcock. Try-saving tackle from Andrew Walker. This is Robinson.
Hold open, break!
Now Wilkinson. Keith Woods. John Eales underneath. This is the Lions' moments. Wilkinson with a short pass. Henderson. The Lions still have a big overlap on the rights.
Leave it!
Todai Kefu trying to get out there. Wilkinson takes it. Just a steady build-up of pressure. And as they did in the first test at the Gabba, the Lions have struck first after the break.
Well, this is a superb start to the second half from the Lions. On 2 occasions, the referee played advantage. Good refereeing. They kept on driving the big men up, whether it be Keith Wood, Corrie, making inroads into the Wallaby defence. Here's Wilkinson. Just steps, little step, Todai Kefu. Herbert can't nail him.
Well, he vowed to come back after the mauling England got by the Wallabies in 1998. And what a man. He was crippled the start of the week, and now he's leading the fight back to victory.
And it's very interesting, twice the Wallabies have been caught out with a prop forward defending against an overlap. Rod Moore that time was the first defender. Kefu had to come up and try and cover, but he committed himself too early. Johnny Wilkinson. What a lovely strike. And the Lions are out by 4. Well, they scored 17 points in 12 minutes at the Gabba after half-time. Last weekend, it was the Wallabies who piled on the points after the break. And Wilkinson now giving the Lions a 7-point start in this second term.
2 miscues there on the kicking from the Wallabies. Put them under that pressure.
Here's Colin Jarvis. Justin Harrison brought him to ground, just out from the 22. So Johnny Wilkinson with a towering punt. Burke underneath. Halfway line ahead. Punches deep. Eales is following. Matt Perry gets the mark. You can only mark the ball on the full inside your 22.
Good chases there from the Lions. Gave Burke only one option to put it up.
And that one coming off the side. So little gain there for Perry. So the option, as it turned out, proving a fruitful one for Matthew Burke.
Now it's time for the Wallabies to get their line out working well. They need good quality possession to get the backs moving. They haven't really been able to involve them. If they're going to score, they must do it.
Justin Harrison. Here's Nathan Gray and Finnegan out wide. Smashing into the Lions 3/4. Numbers here for Australia. Walker. Driven backwards. Gregan. Flatley. Threw a dummy. And was collared. Jarvis coming in. Here's Foley. Straight into his opposite number, Keith Woods. Wallabies clean out. Great pass to Finnegan from Gregan. Jarvis. Finnegan back through his legs. 22-metre line. Flatley again. They're queuing up. Herbert. Gray cleans out. Lions come over the top there through Corrie. Referee's happy. Gregan. Flatley. Joe Roff's out here. Big palm off from Flatley. Just couldn't slip the ball away, but now they can. Well, look at the offensive tackling and pressure from the Lions. Gregan recovers well. Harrison, overlap. That's Nathan Gray. And he's kicked it to Perry. So not a great option there by Nathan Gray. Here's Andrew Walker. 10 from halfway. And all the coolness you like from Andrew Walker. The experienced heads. Lions play on quickly. Jarvis. Not his best kick. Knocked back from Foley. Now Gregan. Here comes Joe Roff. Gregan. Dawson went for the mark. Spilt the ball.
Dawson is having a very good game for the Lions. But on this occasion, in come the Lions forward, seal it off. A penalty to the Wallabies.
Colin Jarvis is in everything right from the start for the Lions since he's come on as a reserve. And you just have to continue to put teams under pressure. The Wallabies have coughed it up, and then they've put the Lions back under pressure. Jarvis keen to show why he should have been in the run-on team.
So the Wallabies are going to go for the try.
This is a good move. They need to keep this Lions defence under pressure. Defence from both sides has been outstanding.
The Wallabies opting not to kick for goal. They want 7. Michael Foley. Owen Finnegan at the front. Now can the Wallabies get their driving more going? That's Foley in control at the back. Lions mustn't pull it down. But the Wallabies don't do it as well as the Lions. Johnson will try and hold him up and turn him. Nick Stiles trying to get it back. Well, put that down to the defence of Martin Johnson. The Australians have squandered their opportunity, but a titanic piece of defence from Johnson, whose grandfather was an amateur wrestler.
It's a good observation, Gordon. The Wallaby forwards just haven't got that driving maul to the same degree of perfection as the Lions.
Fellas, let's work on it. Hold. Engage. Let's go. Leave it. Down, other side. Break.
So going down on the far side. Take us through it, Chris.
Well, Paddy O'Brien's going to have his hands full here. The Lions will want to stay stable here.
Controlled at the back there. And some great work by Martin Corrie, but no ground for the Lions. Rob Henderson just cussing. Another shot here for the Wallaby line-out.
And they've got to mount that same pressure again. They've got to make it work this time. And it's not the ball carrier, it's the men off the ball that create that drive forward. Firstly, they've got to secure the line-out.
Harrison's the money man. Gregan. Gray tries to smash through. Gregan again. Kefu. That's the goal line. Gregan wants it quickly. Here it is. It's a try number 2 for Daniel Herbert.
This is a sensational try from the Wallabies. They put a lot of thought into it. Harrison, the two-handed ball at number 4, down quickly, and then Nathan Gray coming like a rocket, got him across the first lot of advantage line, and then it was Totai Kefu. Watch it, Harrison, 2 balls down.
Sheer desperation, this. Look at how they hit the line and then strive to go forward. They pick up the short men. Kefu just about crawls over the line. It's hit up again. Look, Foley, not selfish. Herbert, you beauty.
Well, again, the world-class skills of George Gregan. A beautiful pass from the line-out. It was a couple of metres in front of the runner, and then that fast lightning clearance to the left-hand side, and the Lions outflanked.
Psychologically so important. The Wallabies scored that try. They had to get that after being there twice.
The lead has changed 5 times. Australia with their noses in front by 2 more. Unbelievable kick there by Matthew Burke. Look at Glenn Eller and Rod McQueen, the Aussie coach, watching on in his last test match.
We have got a ball game. 2 fabulous second-half tries have ignited this stadium.
So Justin Harrison, and lost there by Owen Finnegan, I think. It was tapped down by Harrison. Finnegan just lost the ball down to ground. Referee says it travelled forward.
Well, Harrison just needed to keep that ball in hand with that pressure coming through. They hit him, the ball went down, wasn't accurate.
Well, just these little mistakes have opened the window for the opposite team. Look at the overlap here. O'Driscoll. That is a very ugly tackle by Daniel Herbert. And I I think he might be spending some time in the sin bin.
Goal. He stepped back in, which means you've got to kick them down, okay?
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
He must kick them down. It's a yellow card. No, he took them high. It's a yellow card. High.
So a dramatic turn in this pulsating test match. Daniel Herbert in the sin bin for 10 minutes. 51 minutes gone.
Yep, well, you just can't argue against that. He deserves the time in the bin.
2 tries and 10 minutes in the bin. And in real play, the power of those 2 players coming together. And it did look ugly.
There's 10 minutes. The Wallaby forwards must be absolutely hungry for possession.
So this to level the scores. And not a problem for Johnny Wilkinson. There are masses of red jumpers behind the goal posts at either end. The Lions supporters salute deliriously. It's 23 all.
Well, one wonders if this was drawn at full time, whether the Australian Rugby Union would follow Wimbledon's and come back Monday. We might have another one.
Well, put it down to Brian O'Driscoll's brilliant stepping. He came back inside. He forced the error from a desperate Dan Herbert. There was no malicious intent in the tackle. It was just high around his throat. And the referee had no choice to send him to the sin bin. Here's Colin Chavez. He's made an impact since he's come on. But Australia's a man down now. Can the Lions take advantage? Matt Dawson. Wilkinson's kick very close to touch. Burke lets it bounce. Here's Robinson up again. Burke's in trouble. Smith is back there. So is Walker. And Australia's done well. Here's Flatley. And Keith Wood here. Covering at the back. What's he going to do? Play on, says the referee. He collided with Nathan Gray. Now a huge torpedo from Walker. Perry out from his 22. He's got to keep the ball in play. And he replies with interest. Now Burke inside the 22. And just using a banana trajectory has taken play over halfway.
The experienced player Burke needed to get that ball into touch. Time ticking away.
Okay, there's an injury here for Keith Wood. The score is 23 all.
You'll be right, mate.
So Keith Wood, the former bank official with the Irish Permanent Building Society, now has his own public relations company. But no PR there from the Aussies.
Well, Flatley's only had 13 possessions in this game against Wilkinson, well over the 20.
So Herbert's been off for a couple of minutes. Jonathan Johnson at the front. He was pulled to ground. That was okay because there was no more form. Here's Keith Wood. Crunching tackle by Kefu. Number 3 is Phil Vickery. Dawson clears. Wilkinson dances. He got through Styles, but George Smith wrapped him up. Australia have it. Gregan counter. Kefu and Walker. The pass behind him. Andrew Walker had set his sights for the goal line, and Todai Kefu knows it.
Terrific tackle back on Kefu.
Walker holds that ball. The try was on Chris Handy.
He's just overrun it. I think Kefu got it as quickly as he could across his body. Walker was right on the advantage line.
Well, he does explode onto the ball, Walker. Now here's Perry in from fullback. He's crunched out there. A game well read by the Aussie defence. And they've forced a turnover. Australia still looking for it. They get the penalty. Well, there was a grand tackle there by Nathan Gray, and the penalty has been turned around against Rod Moore.
Just come just for a minute.
We'll just listen to the referee here, Paddy O'Brien.
It's okay, just hold down, hold down.
Paul Honus wanting to come in as well here, the touch judge on this side.
Number 3 after the whistle.
After the whistle on Ritzy.
Absolutely, thank you. John?
Well, the problem this was after the whistle.
They're not allowed to kill your ball, which they did. So I go penalty. He's not rucking, you trampled him. Don't do it. You had a penalty right out in front. I'm changing it. Be very careful.
So Rod Moore, in only his 3rd Test match, ruining his indiscretion.
Can't afford.
Could have been a possible goal kick there, Chris Handy.
Yeah, you can't afford the rush of blood. Incensed by the player coming offside. And I don't think Rod Moore was the worst of it, but he pulled him out. Was after the whistle.
Yes, it was pretty harmless stuff, but the ball was well away. That was the problem for Rod Moore. So, again, he was in no man's land. You can't rake the man like that, even though there was nothing nasty in it.
It was a critical opportunity for Australia with 1 man down to add some points. Paddy O'Brien told John Eales, and I'm sure he knows it now, Lions on attack.
Big line out for Johnson. Neil Back comes in, and here's the famous driving maul. They could take this 25 metres. They're still going.
You have to drive this maul sideways. You can't stop it.
They're trying to pull it sideways now, but Neil Back had it. Now they clear it. They've sucked in the defenders. Who's out wide? Wilkinson goes himself. There were 4 Lions players on 2. And has Australia forced a turnover?
Turned it over.
Courageous stuff. Andrew Walker, again, wanting to clear that ball 40 metres down the field. It comes off the side of his boot. I think George Smith pilfered another one there.
He did, and Neil Back, the centre of that driving maul from the Lions. They've got to get in there and try and target him. He's the core of it.
More of the same here, Buddha?
Yeah, more of the same. Exactly the same stuff. Why change it? Keep it in there until you've got numbers out wide.
Again, Australia's gone down to collapse it, but the maul didn't collapse. So the referee's playing advantage, though. It's going to be a penalty.
Pulling the maul down.
Again, it was Rod Moore this time round. A good transfer, a very clever transfer from Johnson to Grewcock, and then they drive it.
Okay, well, the score here is still locked at 23-all, but a successful kick from Wilkinson will put the Lions back in the lead.
All right, you win. What do you want me to do?
Just tell people about...
So Wilkinson lining this one up. He's only 7 metres in from the touchline. The lead set to change again for the 7th time, if successful. Worm's eye view, and excruciating result for the Lions. Score remains at 23-all. Wilkinson 5 from 8, and about 3.5-4 minutes left for Daniel Herbert.
There'll be no hurry from the Australians in getting this ball kicked out.
Yes, make that about 3 minutes for Daniel Herbert. Still it's 23-all. 3.5 minutes remaining. So here's Perry coming in from fullback. That's Stafford James, in fact, the Welshman, who was dropped for this test, but Austin Healy pulled out this morning. Now the Lions spread it wide with numbers and Neil Back. And here's Robinson and Walker. Walker missed him and then came again. So did Matthew Burke. Look at the overlap on the right. 3 on 1. 2 on 1. Stafford James. Australia drift across. Now they'll come back the other way. The Wallaby defence having to dig deep here. Danny Grucock into Moore. Keith Woods tripped over, just lost his footing. And Australia knocked on.
Well, this is the last thing the Wallabies want, to have a scrum here. George Smith will have to drop out of the scrum to make up for Daniel Herbert.
Second round.
I think Keith Wood lucky not to get pulled up for knocking the ball on. I think Paddy O'Brien must have looked behind him.
So the score here is 23-all.
Thanks, mate.
So the scrum to go down. And Daniel Herbert keen to get back out on the field. And will this be the turning point of the match? Australia a man down. And wasting valuable seconds.
Gentlemen, shut up.
George Smith into the scrum. Down a man in defence.
1 minute and 20 seconds to go for Daniel Herbert in the sin bin.
The Lions are stacked to the left, very deep.
No, come on, let's go. Come on, go.
Somehow Australia's got to hold on here, and Michael Foley is milking it for every second he can.
Fellas, we're stopping on the sin bin. Martin, the sin bin's stopping as well.
You see this Lions back line so deep. Daniel Herbert still off the field, trying to set up the overlap.
How does Australia hold on here, Chris Handy?
Well, it's an arm wrestle, Gordon. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's a total scrap in the forwards. Even a look is enough to kill you out there. Just not wanting to give an inch because they know it'll mean plenty. Now the scrum has to be good first for the Wallabies and for the Lions. And then they scramble.
Now they can go wide. It's a great pass, and it was dropped by O'Driscoll. Lost behind. If he'd held on there, the Lions would have scored. They still have possession, and it's a turnover.
This could be the turning point of the game.
Nathan Gray, you little beauty. He wrapped himself around Dafford James, and that ball trapped between the two bodies.
The Lions just needed to complete this backline movement, and they were there, and O'Driscoll, the most dangerous man in the backline, drops it.
So, Torai Kefu from the base of the scrum. Will that prove to be the turning point? And George Gregan has knocked the ball on at the base of the scrum. Well, that's amazing. He tried to pick it up. It just shows you the amount of pressure on everyone out there. He's got his hands on it, and it slipped. And there was a foot in the way. I think it was John Eel's foot. He had to try and lift it over the foot. So the Lions can apply the blowtorch again. There's still a man up. And there, Corrie's caught. So too is Dawson. Opportunism from Australia again. Can they force another turnover? Now the Lions will try to exploit it. Robinson's wrapped up. With a man up, can the Lions take advantage? Wilkinson sandwiched. And Styles is in to pinch it. Australia back in possession. The Lions leave their feet. Referee says play on. Here's Smith.
Going off your feet.
Well, what application, what intensity from the Wallabies at the breakdown.
Well, it's all about composure, Simon, and it's coming in large doses from the Wallabies.
Lions are starting to lose a bit of their form out there. They can sort of sense that victory, but they're starting to relax their attack.
So Dan Herbert is back on the field. The Wallabies have a full complement, and somehow they've managed to defend their territory.
Well, the hand-to-hand combat at close quarters has swung in the Wallabies' favour. They are really out there scrapping for it. George Smith is all over it. Frustration there for the Wallabies trying to clear it. It ends up in a penalty. Now they've got to turn it into something special.
So Wilkinson taking a bad option there. He got isolated. And Styles was Johnny on the spot. 23 all. It's deadlocked. Justin Harrison, and here's Gray again, and Finnegan. He's the battering ram in midfield. Harrison now, in close, straight into Vickery. Gregan, Foley, tries to bump off Wilkinson. Gregan and Gray. Landed just inside the touchline. Nathan Gray's got it on a piece of string tonight.
No, he's gone out. Paul Honus has called it out.
Yeah, it landed just inside the touchline. And so it's a line-out throw here for the Lions.
Well, this is critical. This is somewhere where Harrison can be effective and Eales competing for the ball.
Grewcock's going to the back. Number 5. Eales was there, got pushed out. Eales got pushed out. It's a penalty. And I tell you what, John Eales milked that one for all it was worth.
Quite an amazing tactic there from the Lions to throw it long.
Well, it was shades of Andy Hayden at Cardiff Arms Park in 1978. Penalty here, Australia, 23 all.
Lifting the lid on the Banks.
It's a cliffhanger here at Stadium Australia. There's about 15 minutes to go. The crowd has burst into Waltzing Matilda. Matthew Burke with an important kick here that will put the Wallabies back in the lead.
No one on the bench is warming up. No replacements looking likely at this stage. Important kick.
He's the man for the moment. What a kick by Burke, his 4th penalty goal. He's also kicked 2 conversions for a personal tally of 16 points. Australia 26-23. Johnny Wilkinson goes quickly. Harrison underneath. Wallabies secure it. So, I was going to say, Simon, there's one interesting point here. The Lions have not scored a point in the last quarter of the first and second test matches. Australia has their noses in front here by 3.
Especially consider with Herbert being off the ground 10 minutes in the sin bin, but it's got to be a good scrum here to get it downfield.
There's a big shunt from the Lions, a second shove. Australia stand their ground. Here's Gray. What a stormer from Gray to the 10-metre line. Gregan, Flatley. Well, he wanted more angle on that kick. Also men in support on the outside. Important Australia stays positive in this situation, and Burke, with all his experience again, has taken it almost to the 10-metre line.
Well, a pretty poor kicking option taken by Alton Flatley, and I think they'd be shaking their heads up there a little bit. But right in the balance now. The Lions forced to struggle, forced to go to strange calls in the line-out. Need to settle it down.
A disarray again, John Eales. So the Lions break down in communication. Finnegan goes to ground. Johnson the tackler. Gregan screaming for it. The ball's there for Australia. Flatley, Walker. Well, he had nowhere to go, and Nathan Gray was on hand. Good mauling from him. Here's Daniel Herbert. Great tackle by Tom Smith, the mobile Scotsman. Kefu now at Johnson. Flicked the pass up in the tackle as he went to ground. 10-metre line, Lions territory. Flatley again to Walker, who was cut out. This is Gray. Corrie the tackler. Neil back, number 7. Back for Gregan and Finnegan. Keith Woods. Gregan again. Well, there was an offside player, a lazy runner. Accidental. The referee says, let's keep going. He didn't really interfere. Now Walker. Now Herbert. Now Roth. Perry to to beat. Joe Roth. Duffett James there first. It was carried over the goal line. It's a 5-metre scrum to Australia.
Sensational patience there from the Australians. Just punched it up, and then they got the overlap. They got it to the speed man, the magician Joe Roth. What's he do? He puts the ball ahead and forces now the 5-metre scrum.
Oh, the knot in the stomach. Lions supporters and Wallaby supporters as well. Desperate defence for the red jerseys as Matt Cobain comes on. Probably Finnegan will come to the line.
Well, what a classic test match we're seeing here. It's been billed as the war between two hemispheres, the rugby world crown at stake here. And the crowd, over 84,000, semaphore on the scoreboard. 84,188. That's the capacity here with the reconfiguration. Can the Lions now stand their grounds? The Wallabies have a spring in their step. They went through 9 phases to get to here. Kefu now for Gregan and Flatley and Gray. Here's Roth. Away they go quickly for Gray, and Walker has to release.
No, 7.
Number 7, George Smith, coming in on the side of the tackle. Referee was right there.
Well, the wide ball to Andrew Walker. Got a little bit isolated. George Smith coming in desperately to try and secure the ball. Walker did very well to get the ball back, but the red jumpers everywhere. Watch him. Down he goes.
Now in the tackle, the referee has judged there that Smith came on the side, which he certainly did. You have to come back around behind the last feet. So absolutely correct, and the penalty for the Lions takes them outside the 22.
And Darren Morris, the prop forward, comes on. And also Ian Bolshaw, he comes on for Scotland's Tom Smith. Time to bulk up that scrum.
Keithwood up the back. Corrie was there. So, who wants it the most? Just under 10 minutes remaining. Johnson and Morris with Grucock. So the fresh legs coming on for both sides. Matt Dawson there, Australia competing ferociously at the breakdown. But the Lions going forward prior to the stoppage. They will get the scrum feed, 10-metre line.
Lowen Finnegan off. He's had a good game. Watch this. Look at the contesting at the breakdown. Matt Cobain on.
Australia by 3. Corrie goes down, so does Cobain. There for Dawson. Wilkinson. Here's Robinson. Flatley the tackler. Harrison came in. Flatley goes again for his second tackle in a row. Here's Johnson. John Eales underneath.
Think about it.
Robinson, big overlap here. Gregan, ball and all. Just short of halfway. Australia has it. Looks like Todai Kefu. It looks like Todai Kefu stole the ball. He did. And the penalty going against the Lions. Neil Back offending. Martin Johnson, his Leicester teammate, being called out.
Right, Martin. That's the warning one, OK? Any more of that when the winning kick ball, we're going yellow. Go back. That's their warning.
Well, Neil Back was once suspended for pushing over the referee in the cup final at Twickenham. But he's a fantastic player, 32 years of age. He hopes to be back for the World Cup in 2 years' time. Eight minutes to go. And a line out now for the Wallabies.
Just look at the intensity there, and Neil Back off the ground just impedes that ball to Gregan.
Justin Harrison plucked away by Gregan to Gray. Now Herbert comes in to clean out Gregan. Burrows. That's Michael Foley, joined by Kefu. Lions have been able to slow down the delivery here. It's out in front of the goalposts. They must defend here. Australia just showing a lot of patience and composure. Something the Lions didn't show when they had an extra man. Kefu. They're just working away in close. Gregan. Flatley. Roth. Just caught by O'Driscoll by the bootlace. 8 metres out. Gregan again. Walker. Kefu. The Lions throwing themselves into the fray here. They have to hold on. Dan Herbert with 2 tries against his name tonight. 7th phase for Australia. Flatley. Matt Cobain. Cobain does well. Still they go short sides. That's the goal line ahead for Australia. Gregan in. So too was Johnny Wilkinson to steal it. The Lions are still breathing. 10 phases for the Wallabies. Desperate gallantry from this Lions team, but here's Roth now. Will he attempt a drop goal? He's going to take it up to the 22. And Australia, because it was just a tackle, will get the scrum feed out in front of the goalposts.
The concentration at the breakdown 1 to 15 from the Australians is just remarkable. They are making so few mistakes with such huge pressure coming through for the men in red.
Although Rob Henderson for the Lions is visibly groggy, and Nathan Gray down.
So the score here, Buddha, is 26-23 in a nail-biter.
Often the people with real money are those who make decisions about where to invest it, rather than how to spend it. And if your financial advisor recommends a funds manager with a wide range of investment options, you can choose from Australian and international shares, diverse managed funds, fixed interest and cash.
So now George Gregan from the scrum. Back for Gregan. And Herberts. 26-23. Player handling the ball on the ground.
Colin Charvis had done all the good work. Made the tackle, competed for the ball. But then when it was released, he was on the ground. You can't then play it and put it back on your side. He's disappointed. Wonderful opportunity for Matt Burke. He's kicked sensationally tonight.
Well, there are still some more dramatic twists remaining in this game. 9th ruck penalty against the Lions. Matthew Burke. This to put Australia out by 6 with just 4 minutes to go. The Lions would have to score a converted try to take the leads. And Burke makes no mistake. That's his 5th penalty to chalk up his 19th points. And Australia by 6 inside the last 4 minutes. So the Lions need 7 points to hit the lead and possibly take this series. Australia has never beaten the Lions in a test series in 102 years. Gregan's kick is a searching one. Perry at the back is wrapped up by Gregan. It was a smother tackle, so the Lions retain the scrum feed. Because that was a kick in general play, the smother tackle means that the Lions can hold on to the ball.
Great thinking by George Gregan, though, to try and hold the man up. But you're quite correct, Gordy. Possession to the Lions, an opportunity to strike.
Well, we saw the French snatch a dramatic victory in the World Cup semi-final in Sydney in 1987. Can the Lions do it here? Jason Robinson looming out wide. Henderson was trying to get some space for the little winger. And ripping the ball out in the tackle. Dawson now. And his teammates saying, go for touch. If we score 7 points, we can win the game. The Lions snatched it in injury time against the Brumbies at Bruce Stadium. Can they repeat it here? Australia by 6. It was Matt Dawson who kicked the winning goal. And now the Lions, with the opportunity for a driving maul, are just 10 metres out. A converted try would give them the lead.
Look at this crowd. Absolutely on fire.
Martin Johnson, and it's been pinched at the front by Harrison. Shades of Mark Connors at Westpac Trust Stadium against the All Blacks last year. Amazing.
Well, Justin Harrison, you've earned your keep. What a wonderful jump. In front, right in between the hands of Martin Johnson. He'll be filthy. They called him innate. They called him Neanderthal. I call him you good thing.
Here's Grewcock then. He's taken straight to ground legally. So the Lions not able to get their driving more going. Here's Woods into Smith. Harrison came from behind the big lock to tackle. Dawson threw a dummy. That's Morris or Vickery. And they've forced a turnover. Heartbreaker for the Lions. Andrew Walker produces a booming punt kick. And the Aussies out of jail. We're inside the last minutes. Will this be the fairy tale ending for all-conquering Wallaby coach Rod McQueen?
Well, there's an 89-year-old woman in Brisbane that'd be delighted to see the Wallabies win the first series against the Lions for 102 years. She was born in 1912 and has waited a long, long time.
So the Lions get it. They're still alive, but they have to do it with a converted try to snatch the series now. Here's O'Driscoll. He's dangerous. Here's Eels. And Smith. Well, he beat several tackles there. And Australia stretched out wide. There's an overlap. Here's Henderson.
Come out, go!
Taken there by Elton Flatley. The Wallaby defence regroups. They punch away on the short side. Wilkinson, Foley, overlap. The try's on for James. Gregan arrives. The hoot is gone. It's general play. And this is it for Australia. The Lions roared loudly, but the Wallabies soared higher. Dramatic finish. Unbelievable test match here at Stadium Australia. Wallabies 29, Lions 23. The Tom Richards Trophy comes down under. Well, what a great performance by this Wallaby team. And what a courageous resistance and assault from the Lions of Britain and Ireland. They gave it their all, but it was the turnovers that cost them dearly. And again, for the third time in the series, the Lions have not scored a point in the last 20 minutes. Well, for drama and raw excitement, it's hard to imagine a better test match. Let's now hear from the winning skipper, who's with Simon Poitevin.
Well, John Eales, congratulations. A fantastic win. The defence was just unbelievable.
Thanks, Porto. It was a bloody good effort. To come back from 1-0 down and a bad 1-0 down and to win it, it's a great credit. Especially when you have to make some changes. Justin Harrison comes in, plays like that. Elton Flatley under pressure. It was a great effort from the whole squad.
Is this the hardest series you've ever played in your life?
It's so hard to say that. I mean, it's the hardest one this year so far. But yeah, it was a tough series and one that we're extremely proud about winning. And I suppose that, on behalf of the team, I'd certainly like to wish Rod McQueen the best. He's been a great ambassador for us. He's really shown us the way over the last few years. And his legacy will last a long time.
And Eels, a special hero to the series, George Gregan, just remarkable.
Hey, George is outstanding. I mean, he just continually produces great performance after great performance, and it's just so great to play with him.
Well, on behalf of everyone here tonight, around Australia, around the world, to you and Rod McQueen, congratulations.
Thanks, Border.
And let's now go to Chris Handy.
Well, Martin Johnson, you brought a very proud team to Australia and you played some magnificent football. Disappointing?
Yeah, it's very numb at the moment, but I couldn't ask for any more from the lads in terms of effort. We just didn't have quite enough at the end when push came to shove to win it, and that lived with us for a long time.
It was like hand-to-hand combat out there at real close quarters.
We knew we had to come out and play big after half-time, and we got the try. Just conceding that one about 10 minutes later kept them back in the game, and then it was anyone's game the last 20. We had a chance to win it, the same as them, and credit to them, they won it, deserved it, no excuses. Just like to thank our fans for coming over. I'm just sorry we couldn't do it for you.
Thank you, Martin. Thanks to the boys.
So there's Rod McQueen, and his achievements have been frozen in time, enshrined in rugby folklore. The Tom Richards Trophy is now held by the Wallabies for the first time. Let's find out who was the man of the match, because he's now with Chris Handy.
Well, George Smith, man of the match. What a classic game. It was tough in close there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was. The British Lions type 5 and back row were really in at the breakdown, clean out, and yeah, it was very tough out there.
Pleased to win?
Yeah, very pleased. We've been working through this for the past couple of months, and
especially for Rod McQueen.
Yeah, definitely for Rod. He's been a great coach over the years. The record speaks for itself. So yeah, great.
Well, to the winners go the trophies from Bundaberg Distilling. Tony Scanlon with your Man of the Match award.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks, Rico.
Congratulations. Go and join the boys.
Thanks a lot.
So George Smith from Cromer High School in Sydney. He is the toast of the Northern Peninsula. He is the toast of Australia, as is this man, Rod McQueen. What an achievement. What a record as coach. He can die happy, that's for sure. But he'll be now a consultant and helping various countries around the world. But John Eales and Rod McQueen, shades of Norm Provan and Arthur Summons in that classic photo. And the Aussie fans are just enjoying the moment here, as you are no doubt around Australia if you're a Wallaby supporter. But great credit to the Lions. The Wallabies pinched a lot of ball, 5 in the line-outs. Justin Harrison won 3 of those throws. He had an heroic test debut. The final score, Australia 29, the Lions 23.
Of Australian Rugby Union can be yours to own. John Eales and the Kick.
Eales has done it!
You can own this limited edition commemorative frame photograph.
John Eales, you champion.
For the 2000 Bledisloe Cup. Only 500 were made, each individually numbered. Personally autographed by John Eales, authenticated and officially licensed by Australian Rugby. Phone this number now to reserve your piece of Wallaby history.
George Gregan, the Australian vice-captain, he didn't get man of the match, but I tell you what, he was right up there. He was the leading tackler for the Wallabies tonight with 16. He produced a sensational performance. The jubilation and the sheer elation of this historic moment for the Wallabies. Simon Poitevin is an emotional wreck. The Wallabies have won here, Simon, by 29-23 to win their first ever series over the Lions.
Historic, gutsy, just from both sides, a tremendous game. But for the Australians, they dug so deep late in the game, especially with Herbert off the field.
Well, looking at the scorers, Herbert 2 tries and Matthew Burke with another big point-scoring performance. That's 44 in 2 matches for him. And the Lions, well, Wilkinson missed 3 kicks at goal and they were vital. But it still was Australia by 6 points. Now, let's have a look at these stats. And Simon, take us through them.
Well, even more remarkable there, if you look at the possession that the Lions had out there, the number of tackles the Australians had to make, the line-outs really started to work very well in the second half for the Australians, and the line breaks started to come their way as well.
OK, let's now join the presentation here at the Olympic Stadium. And we're going to join the president of the Australian Rugby Football Union, a former Wallaby himself, a very proud Wallaby, Peter Criddle.
You've been a wonderful support for your tour. You've been a wonderful backup for your team. You've made this series even more enthralling. Well, it was a wonderful finish. Somebody said about taking chances, when you're skating on thin ice, you might as well tap dance. That's what our boys did tonight, and they won. Well done, John Eales. Well done, Australia. Can I ask the captain of the British and Irish Lions, Mr. Martin Johnson, to come up to the podium? Thank you, Martin.
I'd just like to say I thought it was a tremendous series. 3 great games of rugby. It came down to the last test, and Australia won the game. No excuses from us, they deserve to win it. I'd like to thank our fans for their excellent support for the whole tour. I'd like to wish John and the Wallabies good luck for the Tri-Nations and the rest of the season. And finally, I'd like to thank our players. I couldn't have asked for any more in terms of effort. It's been a long, hard tour, and we came up just short. But you can be proud of yourselves, and we're just sorry we didn't win. Sorry. Thank you.
Kind words. Now I'd like to ask the chairman of Bundaberg Distilling Company, Mr. Tony Scanlon, to step forward, please.
On behalf of Bundaberg Rum, this is the first time that we've been associated with such an event, and we're delighted to be associated with the winning Wallabies in the 3-test series against the British Lions. We thank the Lions